Hello, I'm currently sick right now, so please excuse my appearance in my apartment. It's January. There's also like a huge snowstorm going on, so I've got like blankets all over the windows, so I'm gonna have to fight my cats the whole video, but we're just gonna keep going with it. I saw this guy pop up again on r/internet mysteries, and I was confused why we were talking about him again. But then I realized that he's been posting on Reels instead of TikTok, and that's like a whole new audience of people to be disturbed by what they're seeing. So I'm going to talk about him. This is Christian Montenegro. I am not very good at Spanish, so a lot of my sources are secondary sources. I'm sorry. He's 27 years old, and he's a Colombian construction worker. I was reading online that he kind of talked about having like a lonely childhood and like having a hard time with like relationships. And I have been looking into men who kind of like date their like real dolls. And a lot of those men typically do have issues with relationships, issues with intimacy, low self-esteem, stuff like that. And that's not like normal by any means, but I would say it's definitely more normal. Like we would view it as more normal than somebody like handcrafting a doll, which I think her body is a mannequin body, but he made her face. But he doesn't really ever explain this. So you're just kind of like left wondering what exactly she is. But yeah, this guy used to post on TikTok like a year or two ago, and now he's posting on Instagram Reels. So I'm seeing him on my Reddit. People want to know what exactly she is, and I don't blame them. Not only has he made a wife, he's also made 3 children, and with those children, he has made birthing videos, making other mannequins, like pretending, setting them up to be nurses. It's kind of scary. And then he also has been changing the children as they grow. So like as the children are getting older, they're getting taller. This is like actually happening, but like this is the thing that he's doing. There's also people who are putting, I don't know if it's people or if it's him, but people are like putting filters on the dolls' faces and they're picking them up as real faces. So they're like, there's like these videos of like their faces like moving weird. It's a whole thing. I don't think they're haunted at all. I think they're just dolls. But I kind of wanted to talk about that and everything going on. We don't really know exactly what this is, because at first I was thinking it was, I struggle with pronouncing this word, but agalmatophilia, which is a paraphernalia involving sexual attraction to a statue, doll, mannequin, or other object. It's a form of object sexuality. That is a lot of the times what we see when men are like dating their real dolls, as I was talking about before, which is becoming a lot more common of a thing now. I watched a bunch of like little like TLC, like My Strange Addiction videos about it, but then I saw around a year ago, the Daily Mail posted a video. Christian called his wife, or called the ambulance on his wife. Her name is Natalia. That's what like her actual name, he's named her, is. He called the ambulance on her because she was sick. And there was this video going around. He was freaking out so bad that they put her in like the ambulance, and they like just kind of acted like they were working with any human being, which kind of was like, does he think that she's real? Is this like a delusional companion syndrome, which is when people believe that like objects possess the ability to feel emotions and like that they can think independently, and that they're conscious. I really don't know. My guess is either it's some type of delusional companion syndrome, or he is playing it up for internet fame, which was what I immediately like thought. Because like there's videos of him like taking her on dates and stuff, so I kind of assumed this was like a I want attention, film me kind of thing, which happens a lot on the internet. People do that. But then the thing with calling the ambulance is really weird, because I don't know exactly how like insurance works in Colombia, but if it works anything like America, that's an expensive ass like attention stunt. And also people were pissed. because he was wasting their time. But there is a lot of content on this guy. It's kind of like a whole, like, you can go on his page and like stay there for fucking hours. So at the end of the day, I kind of think that we should leave him alone because he doesn't appear to be harming anybody. But I completely understand why people were freaking out about it, because his wife looks scarily similar to the dolls that were created by Anatoly Movskin, which is a Russian man. Actually, he is still alive. He's currently 58, because I didn't know he was still alive. He was a linguist, a philosopher, and a historian, and he was arrested in 2011 after they found 26 girls and women's dead bodies mummified in his apartment. And he actually lived with his parents, so they kind of just assumed that he had like some weird doll collection going on, because that's what he would do with them. Basically, he would grave rob local cemeteries and then mummify the bodies and dress them and pose them around his apartment. He was actually diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic, and they also suspected him of desecrating as many as 150 graves. But the thing is that he never, this wasn't like a necrophilia thing. He never did anything with any of them. He actually believed that they were like his children, and he would like sit by the graves and ask them before digging them up, if it was allowed. I don't think that they really answered, but I mean, it's nice to ask, I guess. Um, Damn, they answered, I guess. Yeah, so he would wrap their limbs in strips of cloth and then stuff their bodies with rags and then put masks on their face, wax on their faces, like wax masks. And they look scarily similar to the dolls that Christian Montenegro is making. So like, I understand. I don't think that this is what this is, but that was kind of the initial freak out of the people on Reddit. And then there was also a similar incident that I also kind of wanted to talk about. I'm not saying it's related to the main guy. I'm just saying that I kind of thought about these things in sequence. Um, and I think it's very interesting. So, another guy that people were comparing this to, like, worst case scenario, was Karl von Kassel, who was, he was born in Germany, 1877, and he lived until 1952, and he was a doctor from Florida. So he said that in his childhood he would be visited by his ancestors, who would show him the face of a woman. And years later, as an adult, he finally meets this woman. He has her as a patient, but she dies because she has tuberculosis. And Elena, which was the patient, she's 22, she dies. He visits her tomb every day for almost a year and a half, and he finally digs her up and brings her home with him. Now, he attached bones with piano wire and got glass eyes. He replaced her skin with silk cloth soaked in wax and plaster. As she decomposed, he made a wig from her hair so that when her scalp decomposed, he could still have her, like, he could put her hair back on her head. And he filled her abdominal and chest cavities with rags, and he dressed her and used perfume to mask the smell. And this went on for 7 years until her sister finally realized what was going on. This was another situation that people were like, what if he's doing this? I don't think he's doing that. I find myself like not wanting to judge and being like, oh, you know, would it be as creepy if it was just like a real doll, or like a well-made doll, or like a mannequin that wasn't homemade? And while I don't think it would be as weird, because I do think that like a part of this story that's scary is her appearance. She's very scary. To me, even. I do think that still, like, dating dolls is weird. Well, one, they just kind of freak me out. They scare me a little bit. I don't love looking at them. I kind of find it to be a little bit sexist. And, like, I get it, I guess. if you're that lonely, like, I could understand the idea that somebody's that lonely that that's what they're being pushed to. But the people who come online and they're like, dating a real doll is better than dating a real human woman because real human women are complicated and emotional. It just kind of comes off as like incel max, you know what I mean? Like, it's not very like, I don't know. And I understand like being sex positive and all that stuff, but I don't know if I can get behind the whole like replacing human women with dolls. It's a little weird. It's a little much for me. I definitely think it has like some sexist connotations around it, or misogynist connotations around it. The idea that a real human being can be replaced by an object that doesn't have, you know, like you don't want a girlfriend. You want something to have sex with. You know what I mean? You don't want anybody to have a different opinion than you, or to possibly have an issue with anything that you're doing. You just want something to have sex with that won't, you know, I don't know. They don't want real human people, but I guess to each their own. I might be making a video similar to this soon. I found a book while I was researching like real dolls and stuff, because there's a whole community of men who prefer dolls to women. So I found this book called The Age of Perversion, and it's by Dr. Danielle Nafo. I think that's how you pronounce that. And I'm planning on reading it. I found it online. And if there's anything interesting, I might make a video about it. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting, and I wanted to yap about it. I kind of think he's harmless. If I have to eat my words, I'll be very sad. But you know, I don't really think there's a dead body in there. Hopefully not. I don't see it being that at all. If you have any thoughts or opinions or interesting topic ideas, let me know. I hope you have a nice day, and goodbye.